The simple act of some elementary school boys in Durham, North Carolina, reached halfway across the country in over 70 years to reach my grandsons, Embry and Arlo. Embry's in elementary school and Arlo's in kindergarten in small town Gunnison, Colorado. I grew up on Chapel Hill Road in Lakewood Park in Durham, North Carolina. I lived with my father, mother, grandmother, two brothers, and a sister. We lived in a modest craftsman-style house with a wide porch that ran the entire length of the house. We could sit in the swings in the evenings and hear the cheering of the Duke University football crowd. Duke University was physically close to where we lived, but miles apart from the world that I lived in. My father worked at the American Tobacco Company, rolling cigarettes for a living. Just a few miles down the road, in a more affluent neighborhood, the children of the Duke University professors and doctors lived. My elementary school years was spent at Lakewood Elementary School. My sister Pat and I would walk down the neighborhood sidewalk, past Broadway's grocery store, the tree with the Indian cigars, Rolls Florist, Davis Bakery, and the Baptist Church. Lakewood Elementary School was a small red brick building set among some modest homes. The children from the Duke University professors and doctors and the children from the tobacco workers went to school together. It was a good school. It was about 2 or 3 years ago that I told my grandsons, Embry and Arlo, the story of Buddy Cole at their usual bedtime storytelling time. Buddy Cole was a schoolmate of mine in elementary school. Buddy was small, thin, frail, and had sunken eyes. His skin tone was usually cyanotic or blue, especially his lips. His fingertips were round, big, and the nail beds were always cyanotic or blue. Buddy was smart. He could do the schoolwork, but he could not physically keep up with the rest of the children. I don't remember anyone ever making fun of him, teasing him, or making him feel apart from the rest of the kids. At recess time, we had to go down 8 or 10 stone steps to reach the playground behind the school. And of course, Buddy could not physically do that. Kickball and dodgeball were two of our favorite games. The cigarette factory boys and the Duke University boys would come together, stand in front of each other, link their arms, and then squat down and make a seat for Buddy to get on. They would take Buddy down the 8 or 10 steps and set him on the stone ledge that was at the bottom of the steps. Buddy would sit there and watch us play. When recess was over, the boys would come back together again, link their arms, make a seat for Buddy, and bring him back up the steps. This went on day after day, all year long, different boys taking turns. Buddy died while we were in elementary school. I can't remember anything much about his parents except they were part of the Duke University system. I can't imagine their grief. Today, if a child is born with a hole in the heart, he can have an operation to repair the hole and survive. My grandsons, Embry and Arlo, asked me to tell the story of Buddy Cole over and over again. They want to know why he was blue, why he had a hole in his heart. We practice linking our arms together and making a seat and pretending we're carrying someone. I feel like the story of the Duke University boys and the factory boys coming together to help Buddy Cole is a kind act that my grandsons Embry and Arlo find worth repeating in some form or fashion, even though it took place halfway across the country from them and over 70 years ago.